Good morning, Thrivers. Hi, welcome to episode 14. Um, I just had a good morning sort of meditation and felt like talking to you guys for a few minutes. I know I've said a lot of things lately about what I struggled with in my past or in my youth, and I just wanted to clarify a little bit just because we talk about all the things that we deal with doesn't mean they happen by adulthood. But that's life. You know what I mean? That stuff happens. Life happens. And I choose to be positive about it now. Just because that stuff happened doesn't mean there wasn't good stuff that happened in my childhood. There wasn't happy stuff. There was, there's a lot of happy moments in my childhood. There's a lot of happy moments throughout my whole life. And I wanted to talk a little bit about forgiveness. And I kind of have I suppose it's an unorthodox view of forgiveness. I think forgiveness is a journey that I have been through a little bit. Like when I was first dealing with some of my negative stuff, um, I had to sort of look at the situation from number one, other people's perspective, and or the other party's perspective, or the other people that were in the situation. Try to look at it from their perspective, and number two, look at it from God's perspective, or an outside observer's perspective, and not so much judge, but try to understand. Um, because judgment, like I've said before, judgment, that's God's job. That's not my job. It takes too much work, too much brain energy. I'm not going to do it. Just, I'm happier if I don't. That's basically the answer I figured out there. But I don't believe anymore. Along my journey, that really helped me to be able to, that changed my life. I think I was 27 or 28 when I realized when I learned how to look at a situation from someone else's perspective, or from an objective observer's perspective. I can't remember the process it was right now, but it was an NLP process, neuro linguistic programming process, where I could step outside myself and look at the situation objectively and from the other person or persons or people, their perspective as well. So that was one of the most invaluable tools that I ever. Oops, sorry, that's my alarm going off. Um, so I believe forgiveness is a part of that, and there's one definition that has stuck with me. Forgiveness is letting go of the demand that the situation was different. Letting go of wanting to change what happened to you in your past, kind of accepting it. I don't know if radical acceptance is maybe an also nearby definition as well. Just learning to accept the things you cannot change. And that is true of your past as well. You can't change what happened to you, but what are you going to do now? How do you want your life to be now? That's what's more important, is to live in the now. I know flashbacks happen. I know panic attacks happen, but they happen in the moment and then they're over. And then how do you deal with it? How do I deal with it after that? Where do I want to go now? I'd rather be positive. It feels better to be happy. It feels better to be hopeful. Um, just, that's my choice. I choose to be more positive about it. I mean, I'm human. I slip back sometimes into being negative, or focusing on, well, this is what happened back then, and I can't, rah, 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 and these are the consequences, and, whatever bile wants to come up, so to speak. But I just wanted to talk about that a little bit because my perspective has changed, I've realized. That I don't so much believe that forgiveness is necessary anymore, but that is a function of me changing my own perspective, looking at things more from God's perspective rather than human perspective. I'm trying to be more God-like. So what I mean by that is, it is forgiveness for me still has a flavor of wanting something to be different, wanting something in the past to be different. But there's still like a little sprinkle of judgment and not liking something, or a little bit of negativity. You're like, oh, well, I have to forgive in order to feel better, or in order to whatever, fill in the blank. But I believe now that forgiveness isn't necessary for me because I don't judge and I don't feel wronged anymore. I feel like just things have happened and I choose how to respond to it. I choose how to feel. I choose what to think. It doesn't have to be this ordeal where I'm like, I must forgive this horrible thing. I don't even go there anymore. I feel like I've gone a step beyond forgiveness, if that makes any sense. And I don't need to forgive. There's nothing to forgive. God is what God judges. He decides if forgiveness is necessary or not me. That's above my pay grade, people. But that's just what I've been thinking about this morning and setting my day. I know it's but early. I got up even before my alarm. As you saw a minute ago, my alarm was going off up there. But it's just what I wanted to share with you guys today. Just a little positivity message of maybe support along your journey, because there was definitely a time where I needed to be able to forgive. And I don't think I would get to this place I am in right now if I didn't go through that phase of forgiveness. Because that is what brought me to God in the first place, was I was struggling with forgiveness. And it wasn't forgiving other people. It was forgiving myself. So I was taking parenting classes at the local pregnancy center, and I was just talking to my lovely counselor about struggling with forgiveness, and not so much other people, but myself. I couldn't forgive myself for certain things I had done and thought, and judged myself about. And she taught me about God's forgiveness, because He's the one who judges. Just my perspective. I don't want to push religion on anyone, because I don't enjoy having religion pushed on me. Like, well, that's your perspective. That's your opinion. That's your belief. This is my that was my alarm going off. So anyway, where was I? Lost my train of thought again. Right, so I was struggling with my own forgiveness. I couldn't forgive what I had done to myself, and I needed some help. And God stepped in through this lovely lady at the pregnancy center. So that was the beginning of my forgiveness journey. And that was, goodness, let me think about this. What year is it? I believe that was 2015, maybe? So about 3 years ago. Um, but that was the start of my forgiveness journey. And this is where I'm at right now. But forgiveness is a wonderful tool. Like I've been saying, we need an arsenal of tools because some days this feels like a battle. Some minutes it feels like a battle. But the important thing is to focus on it being a war. I mean, I know that's kind of a negative connotation, but battles are small pieces of what you got to do. Focus on the overall picture, the overall, what am I going to win today? What am I going to win in my life? Because today is a moment. This minute is a moment. This panic attack is a moment. This whatever is just a moment. And moments pass. Moments come and go. Feelings come and go. You can learn to control them. I have learned, well, I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress. I love learning. That's one of my passions, is just learning new stuff. I'm fascinated by just everything. That's a side note for another time. But I am learning to see the moments, feel the moments, hear the moments, because sometimes flashbacks for me are auditory. Excuse me. But the thing I today at this point in my journey is that I don't think forgiveness is necessary anymore. I'm just worried about me. I take care of myself. I've already forgiven myself. I've already forgiven other people. I've forgiven the world. Whatever bad stuff's going on, it's forgiven. And I'm letting God take care of that. It's above my pay grade. I'm going to focus on me. Focus on what I can control. Because I can't control other people. You can't control other people. We may try, but that's just wasted energy, in my opinion. Even if you think you know what's best, even if I think I know what's best for someone else, it's not really true. I'm the only one that knows what's best for me. And when I'm not sure, God definitely knows. So I consult with him and nobody else, pretty much. I mean, I might get opinions and perspectives from other people, but it's just for my own consideration. It doesn't mean I'm going to follow necessarily what other people want. I'm going to follow what I want, what feels right for me. And I don't feel like I need to forgive anymore. So just a little tidbit for you guys. I know I've been rambling, but that's kind of what I do on these things. My little therapy journal I'm putting out there for you guys and for myself. So, sorry it's so early. I'm not quite awake yet either, but at least I'm doing this positive. I'm moving forward with my day, and I'm excited for what today may have in store. There may be something exciting, unexpected, a little bit of lagniappe. You never know. So I hope you guys got a little something from this. I know I did. And even if you didn't, I still love you. I love you guys. I love myself. And have a good day. See you next time.